go to Buffalo. My man Rick, what's going on?
Everything's going great, Jim. How are you doing?
So good, Rick. Perfect.
Well, I saw Stucknut posted his Smackoff odds the other night, and obviously that dope knows nothing about the show. He's got those two Canadian lames going off at 10-1. I wouldn't touch those hacks at 100-1. I've already referenced how pathetic Matt's top 10 list was last year, but Tyler's fit alarm gimmick doesn't get nearly the ridicule it deserves. That thing went over like a wet fart at a funeral. Cue that thing up, Elvie. Clones need to be reminded how historically terrible it was. Now I realize you feel pity for Canada, Jim, so I know you're going to take their smack-off calls, but could you kindly take them back-to-back at the bottom of hour 2? That'll give me a chance to drop a nice mid-show deucer and restock the cooler without missing a friggin' thing. And I couldn't believe Caleb in Green Bay opened at 5-1. That's a bigger stretch than that doughboy trying to squeeze into a pair of size 48 Levi's. You got no shot, Leb. Maybe you should just bring your mom on again this year, fat boy, and she can apologize for being such a failure as a parent. In summary, Jim, the Stucknut Smackoff odds are a complete friggin' joke, and it's no surprise when you consider the source. As a favor to the clones, I'll be tweeting out the real Smackoff odds a little later in the show. Ward John Beeline getting a huge payday. He's definitely earned it. War Steve Kerr being just like me, an effing giant who's mastered his craft. Thanks for the vine, Jim. I'm out.
Rock him! Thanks, Rick! He just gets stronger throughout the call. I feel like sometimes, like that time I was at the Super Bowl. You know that time? Last year. I was sick as a dog. Every day on the walkover, Dave Whalen said, or he thought, how's this guy going to do it? He can't even talk. Then I'd slam a cough drop in my face, and then I would get stronger as the day went on. That was Rick in that call. Like a locomotive going downhill. Good job. My man does not like being plus 800. He did not like being 8-1. The Stucknut odds, I've not gotten there yet, but he jumped in. And Rick said the real odds will come out later on in the program. The odds that he drops. I agreed with almost everything he said. Generally, I agree with a lot of things that Rick says and what he does. The only thing that I disagree with is when he said, what's that dope know about this show? Stucknut? That dope knows more about the show than I do. And I host the show. Oh no, Stucknut knows quite a bit about the show. Stucknut has been documenting and archiving and been the jungle historian for the better part of 20 years. My man knows everything about this show. He knows more about the show than the XR4 Ti combined would ever know about the show. Believe me, if something slips my mind about the show, where do you think I go? To Alvy? Sure. But only after I go to the nut. But Rick's not cool with the odds. Hey, we'll find out. You know how odds are, right? The best team does not always win. The best caller generally does win, though. And that's why Brad's been unbeatable of late. That's why Left was so tough to beat. Unless your take is that Left is, quote, a gimmicky little bitch. But even without the gimmicks, he has shown up strong. When we return, I'm sure some reaction to Rick in Buffalo, as always. Are you team Rick? Or do you hate Rick? Hate's a strong word. But even if you hate this guy, it's just fuel. He loves it. I think Rick would rather you hate him than love him. He runs on that kind of premium fuel. 1-800-636-8686. All right, as an example of Stucknut. As I mentioned, when I don't know something, where do I go? To Alvin, but first I go to the nut. So, as an example, that dorm room Cal State Fullerton call, I said to Alvin, what year was that? Alvin said, dude, no date.
Dude.
Stucknut has a date. Stucknut knew when that call was. 2005.
With a guy.
I think he even had the month. So no, that quote dope, he does know the show. He knows the show really well. He knows things that Alvin and I don't know.